Okay, welcome back. It's not glamorous, but somebody's got to do it. So today we're going to take a look at restructuring our prefab workflow so that we're more in line with how it should be. And we're also going to be cleaning up our scenes here so that they're not quite as messy. So let's dive right in. Hey there, welcome back. So today I wanted to take some time just to kind of clean up our project. Right now this is just way too messy for what I like, so we're going to clean some stuff up here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm not using tiled anymore, and if you are, that's fine, but I'm just going to get rid of these tiled objects. So I'm just going to delete them from the scene. And I know some of you have talked to me about updating my Git. I'm really bad about remembering to do version control, but I'll try to make sure that my Git is updated sometime soon. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is, so I got room 1, I got room 2, so room 2, yep, room 2 is up above. Oh wait, hold on, no, room 2, where is room 2? Okay, it's that one. How about I actually make these somewhat organized here? So I've got my tile map, I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave my main camera alone as well. The event system, that gets left alone. The enemy container should have nothing in it, but it does. It's got the area log because I didn't make a room for over here. So I must have, because my camera moves. So, man, I'm weird. I don't do stuff the right way sometimes. Alright, so let's look at room 2. I've got the room 2 VCam, the turret log. Alright, room 1 is going to get a few more objects here. It's going to get the magic bottle, which I'm using for testing purposes, kind of, sort of, still. Oh, okay, so let's open our prefab. Oh, I didn't want to open the prefab of the magic bottle. Can't I just? Yeah, I thought I could. So magic bottle goes there. I guess it's just that it has to go at the bottom. Our container is going to go in there, and then room 1 has this list of pots, but it should have a list of objects too. So let's take a look at our overworld room, because we don't want to just, well, yeah, I'm kind of deciding here. So I'm just going to get rid of the magic bottle and the heart container because I don't need them there anymore. And now Visual Studio decides to open. So let's just get these out of my scene. The minimap marker needs to stay here because it needs to be able to be turned on, or it needs to be on all the time. The room 1 virtual camera is fine. Make sure that all your virtual cameras are off by default so that when your character spawns into the world, it'll register a trigger and make that the camera. So I'm going to organize this some more. So I'm going to create an empty child, and I'm going to call this enemy holder, and then I'm going to create another empty child, create empty. I'm going to call this pot holder. So I'll grab these pots, pot 1, 2, and 3, put them in here. Cannot restructure prefab instant. It's because they're part of the prefab, that's why. All right, let's take a look at our prefab here then. All right, so in the prefab, we're going to create our unenemy holder, and we're also going to create a pot holder. And then we'll also create an NPC holder to keep everything. So NPC holder. I'm going to put my enemies in here. I'm going to put my, oh, that needs to go in here too. I'm going to put my pots in here. Oh, I didn't create a pot holder yet. So create empty child, pot holder, and then I'm going to put all my pots in here. And this will hopefully organize the room a little bit more. Now, as far as the prefab goes, I don't want the prefab to have these logs. I don't know why I did this. I made room 1 a prefab, but then it made it harder for me to use prefabs for the other rooms. So I'm going to, I'm going to get rid of these logs. So I'm just going to delete them. And I'm going to get rid of the pots too, so that this can be my room prefab. And I'm going to call it that, room prefab. Rename file. All right, cool. Now I want to set my enemies to 0, my pots to 0. And my virtual camera is the virtual camera, the room 1 vcam. All right, so I'm going to go back here. And now for my room 1, I want to apply all the changes. So I've got my minimap marker, my enemy holder, my pot holder. I've got 2 enemy holders for some reason. All right, let's fix that. All right, so enemy holder. I'm gonna get rid of this one. So I got my minimap marker. I got my vcam, which has a child for some reason. Okay, it doesn't have a child. My minimap marker, my pot holder, my enemy holder, and I got 2 pot holders. I'll delete that one. All right, cool. Let's go back, overrides, apply all, and that should, okay, cool. Now for room 1 here, oh look, a little pot got through the, whatever. So we'll delete that pot. Let's make sure that the virtual camera knows what the follow is, and then it also knows what its boundary is. So its boundary is room 1. All right, cool. The impulse listener, great. So we'll get rid of that, or we'll collapse that. Now for room 2 here, I'm going to go to my prefab folder because I just added that new prefab. I'm going to go to my rooms folder, and I've got my room prefab. I'm going to pull this in here, and anything that was supposed to be in room 2 is now going to go into this new prefab. So in there, and then room 2 vcam is going to, cancel. Let's break the prefab instance. Unpack prefab completely. So room 1 vcam is going to go away. Room 2 vcam is going to go there. This knows, yep, it knows everything it's supposed to know. Man, this is a mess. Okay, sorry for that weird cut. So to make my life easier here, I'm going to grab, so what you can do on my room 2 here, I'm going to right click the gear next to the polygon collider because I want these points to be the polygons, or the vertices for this polygon collider. So I'm going to right click, I'm going to copy component, and I'm going to go back to room prefab. I'm going to click, and I'm going to paste component values so that now this is going to know what points it should have. So if I go to edit collider, you can see that it now is the correct room 2. And I'm going to call this room 2. So the vcam, let's make sure that it knows what it's supposed to know. It knows that room 2 is its thingy thing. The virtual camera is right there. Okay, and now the turret log is going to go inside the enemy holder, and the ogre here is going to go inside the enemy holder as well. And then on my room 2, enemies is going to be 2, and I've got the turret log, and I've got the ogre. All right, cool. We're doing better. I don't have any pots in this room. I don't have any NPCs in this room, so I'm going to close that. Now, I'm going to call this something so I know what it is. So I'm going to call this turret and ogre. All right, now we're doing better. Okay, so room 3. Okay, so I'm going to add another room prefab above room 3. I'm going to take room 3 here. I'm going to copy the component values. So right click, copy the component. I'm going to go to my room 3 prefab. I'm going to paste component values. Cool. Now I'm also going to take treasure chest B. I'm going to put that in the lake room. And I'm going to take the VCam in here. Actually, this knows what its VCam is. And this VCam is going to need to know it's here. And then the follow target is going to be the player. All right. Let's make sure I haven't broken things too much here by trying to fix stuff. So I'm going to hit play. And we're going to try to just go up to the lake room. Let's see what breaks. You see why this is maybe an important episode to do? All right, cool. So this is working. Cool. So I didn't break this too much. If I go back down here, I don't have my enemies in here anymore, but that's okay. Go over here. Got my little ogre down there that follows me. And looks like my turret log didn't make the transition, so. All right. Pardon me. So, okay. So I'm going to recall this one. Room 3. Lake room. Cool. And now I can get rid of... Actually, let's not get rid of it. Let's turn it off first to make sure that it's not integral to anything. And let's go back up to that lake room and just make sure that even with that off, it's going to be okay. Okay. All right, cool. So let's get rid of room 3 here. How about that numbering? Let's actually fix the numbering too. Let's also turn off room 2 and make sure that it's going to work without that there. The reason I'm doing this is because it's necessary that we do some of this in order to make saving data better. Oh, okay. Well, that's certainly weird. Okay. So the room 2 VCam is active. It does know what it's supposed to follow. But for some reason, it's being pretty weird. Okay, let's make sure it's confined to the right room 2. Okay, it wasn't confined to the right room 2. So let's try this again. You know, when I made that match 3 tutorial, I said as I went through it, like, there's a whole lot I would have done differently. And because I know a lot more about making stuff like that now, and now I know a whole lot more about making a game like this, and so there's a lot I would do differently. So let's get rid of room 2, because we know now that it's okay to get rid of that. So turret and ogre, I got my pause canvas. This game object I was using to tell where things were, so I can delete this. My transitions, these are no longer, oh, no. These are needed. It's the room transfers that aren't needed anymore. So I should be able to get rid of these and then just use or let the Cinemachine stuff take care of everything else. So let's get rid of those. And let's, again, try, make sure everything's going to be okay. So I'm going to hit play. Let's go up here. Okay, that worked okay. I actually like the Cinemachine version of this better than the cobbled together one that I made. So that's okay. All right, cool. So I'm going to get rid of all these room transfers then. The scene transfers are fine, and I'm going to call this scene transitions. Okay, so now the sign needs to go into room 1 because it's part of room 1. So it's going to go down there. And I can close that. And then the treasure chest. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to add some more rooms here. So let's add another room prefab. I'm going to call this room 4. Room 4. Let's duplicate that. I'm going to call that room 5. Let's duplicate that again. I'm going to call this room 6. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to need one more. One more time, and this is room 7. All right, cool. I'm going to put my pause canvas up here next to my actual canvas. My tile map can be collapsed. The area log here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Room 4 is going to get the area log. So area log goes in the enemy holder. Room 4 gets enemies of size 1. And it gets the area log as its enemy. NPC holder gets the NPC that I had up here, which is also called NPC holder. Interesting. It's a little bit recursive. Cancel. I don't want to do that. There we go. Okay, so NPC holder goes in there. Now I need to actually set up room 4 to be correct. So room 1, if I look at the collider points, 25, 0. Okay, so then room 4 points are going to be, this is the one I want, right? Yeah. Points are going to be 25, 0, negative 25, 0, 0, negative 25, and then negative 25, negative 25. So I've probably put these in the wrong order here. Okay, so this one, oh, 25, 0 shouldn't be there. It should be, should this one be 0, 0? If I go to edit. Okay, but they're in the wrong order now because it's kind of crossing itself. So 0, 0, and then we're going to go negative 25, 0, and then negative 25, negative 25, and then 0, negative 25. Okay, that's the right order now. Okay, cool. So sorry about that. So now my room 1 VCam, I'm going to set that to be room 4. And then room 4, its VCam is going to be this room 1 VCam. And I want to rename that. Let's look at my room prefab here so I can do that. I'm not going to call this room 1 VCam anymore. I'm just going to call this room VCam. And then that should save it to everything. Overrides. Nope, I don't want to apply those overrides. Okay, so I should be able to go to the left room now. Let's try this out. All right, so my VCam doesn't quite know where the boundaries are. So confine scene edges. Room 4. Okay, sorry about that weird cut. This is another one of the situations where it's the next day and I'm looking at something I started yesterday. So if we're looking at room 4 here, the problem was if I went to my virtual camera and didn't know what to follow. Right now it has nothing for the follow. So I'm just going to make sure that it follows the player. And there we go. Now for room 5, I'm going to set the points for the collider. So element 1 is going to be at 0, negative 25. Element 2 is going to be at negative 25, negative 25. Element 2 is going to be at negative 25, negative 50. And then element 3 is going to be at 0, negative 50. And that should be, it should be pretty good. So if I go to edit colliders, I've got this set up right. And then I want to make sure, let's go ahead and edit colliders. I want to make sure that it knows what camera to use. So I'm just going to manually set that, even though I know it probably should know. And then on the camera itself, I'm going to make sure it knows to follow the player. All right, cool. Now I'm just going to repeat this process for the last 2 rooms. I'm probably going to speed it up, and then we'll talk about how we can clean up the rest of this and how we can make our prefabs better. So hold on for just a second. All right, so there we go. Now I've got the rooms all set up. So I've got this enemy boundary holder here. Boundary 1. Oh, okay. So this needs to go into room 4, I think. Here's something else I'm going to do to make this easier for me to tell where things should go. So this is going to go, I'll just put it there. Nope, I can't put it there. I got to put it at the end. All right, cool. So I'm going to go to my prefab here. I'm going to add to this a new object. So room prefab, create empty. I'm going to call this marker. And then this marker is going to have position in space, and I'm going to use a tag on it. So I'm just going to use that icon, marker. And this way you can actually see where stuff is. So I'm going to go back, and room 1 gets that marker. I'm going to put it at a position of 12.5, negative 12.5. So it should be in the middle of everything. There we go. And I'm going to change this from being marker to being room 1. This way I can know what each room is much more easily. So room 3, which is the lake room, is going to have a marker of 12.5, 12.5, and its marker is going to be called lake room. There we go. And I'm just going to set these up for the other rooms here too really quickly. Okay, so this way I know where every room is. Now I can go through and do the same thing with the minimap markers here. So like the minimap marker for room 7, I need to make sure that that goes where it should go, which is down here. I'm just roughly placing these because I want to get this done relatively quickly, and I know that you guys can do this on your own. So the minimap marker for room 6 is going to go down here. And again, this is going to be super rough, but you can put them in exact spaces by your onesies. So let's go to room 4. Let's put this here. And the lake room. And you could use different markers for these. For example, if you wanted the lake room to have an actual little lake in it, you can make your own sprite for it and replace the room blank with that. And all right, cool. So now we've got this much more set up easily. If we look at our objects, treasure chest A, that needs to go into the treasure chest room. All right, cool. And then I can get rid of this objects. I can get rid of this enemy container. I cannot get rid of the event system. I can't get rid of the canvas, the player. Okay, cool. This is so much nicer. So if I play it now, I should also see those mini map markers for the other scenes, the other rooms show up. So in general, this should just be better, except for room 2, which for some reason I broke the prefab instance. But you can see now down here, I have mini map markers for more than just one scene. All right, so now I'm going to save this. And here's the other issue that I have right now. So the canvas that I have down here doesn't match this canvas. So I'm going to go to my overrides, and I'm going to apply all so that all of my overrides are on there. And my player, do they have any overrides? Yeah, I'm going to apply all of my overrides to the player as well. Room So that should help us with something else too. So now if I go into the dungeon here, so let's go to our scenes, and I want to go to dungeon. We'll save this. I think a few things are broken in here. So let's test this out. No, haha. The player isn't where they're supposed to be. So our player should be at -0.5, -4. So scriptable objects, player position, default value, -0.5, tab, -4. I know there's an easier way I could do this. I can't think of an easier way right now without creating the save data. And the save data can reset this every time. And then that would just be easier. All right. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not broken. When I was playing with this earlier, I was able to see a little bit into the next room, but it actually looks fine now. And then I've got this little switch over here, and the magic meter is with it again now, and the mini-map's with it, but nothing in here has an actual mini-map attached to it. So it would be better if I had planned to have my UI, because right now my UI is super obtrusive. It'd be better if I had planned to have my UI outside of everything, but okay. So there we go, that's fixed. Let's save that. And let's take a look at our other scene. So right now we have cutscene house. Let's make sure this still works. Oh, well, we got the magic bar and everything. That's good. I didn't reset the player position. And then I did house interior. Save. And if I play house interior, I'm just checking right now to make sure that the UI is exactly what it should be. All right, cool. So there we go. Now, the next tutorial that we're going to cover is either the boss battle or saving data. No, it's not. It's making invulnerability frames. That's the next thing we're going to cover. After that, it's either going to be the boss battle or saving data, and then we're going to do some like almost mini tutorials that are encapsulated. So we'll do one on an inventory system, which will be probably 4 parts. We'll do one on branching dialogue using Unity's built-in state machine, probably about 4 parts also. And then, yeah, we'll go forward. There's a schedule for my rough plan of what I want to do in the description below, so you can check that out if you want to. But yeah, otherwise, check out my Patreon if you want to. You can follow me on Twitter. Join my Discord. Tons of really, really cool people in the Discord. If you do nothing else, I'd suggest you check the Discord out. But yeah, thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel, or telling a friend who might be interested. Also, please consider following me on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can earn access to tangible rewards, like early access to videos, backer-only videos and series, polls for future topics, streams, and even individual tutoring sessions. You can find a link to that in the description. And as always, have yourselves a wonderful day.